So I first started acting a little bit at school. I was quite a shy boy and went off to work and started doing a little bit in the evenings with various amateur groups. But most of my experience so far would have been in the Cubs and the Scouts, going to gang shows and doing little sketches with them. And I first joined a group called the Little Over Players, where I did several shows. They were kind of variety shows, and I was doing a lot of impersonations like Jimmy Savile and things, because I hadn't really got a lot of confidence in acting myself. From then, having done a couple of pantomimes and a couple of variety shows, went off to a group called Derby Theatre in the Round, where I learnt an awful lot more, and they were a lot more professional. Most of their shows used to be on at the what's known as the Black Box studio at the bottom of the old Derby Playhouse. I was with them for about 5 or 6 years, and I did a tremendous amount, or even branching out, going out to do bits of Shakespeare, played Puck in A Midsummer Night's Dream, and Comedy of Errors, a few musicals, or I never classed myself as a singer. And eventually, when I was in my mid-30s, I decided, like a lot of amateur actors, that I was very good now and I would go off and become a professional actor. I don't really think I had much of a clue of how to do that. I got some help from a friend of mine called David, and I left Derby, where I was doing these things, late 1980s, to come to Nottingham, and I did a degree, a performance art degree, where I met a lot of young people who already had got a lot of experience and very talented people. And the part of the degree was that you'd work with visual arts as well as the performing arts and develop your own performance pieces. From then, after I left the degree, I started doing extra work on programmes like Peak Practice and Boone, eventually Crossroads, some little films here and there, and I was also in a film with the East Midlands Arts opposite the Broadway. A couple of the major pieces of extra work that I did, and these were over a period of about 4 or 5 years, were the series Peak Practice, going right from its beginnings right through to when it finished. I'm not sure how long that was. Again, we'll call it 3 or 5 years. And I played a variety of roles in the background. Often it's just your elbow that gets seen, or a flash by in the middle of the surgery. You very rarely get to talk, but you do get paid extra for that. And I've been driven by the same friend at 7 o'clock in the morning to get to some place in the freezing cold, to stand on a hillside at somebody's pretend funeral, or somebody's pretend going into a shop and it getting burgled. And it is quite fun, but as many people will tell you if you do that job, that you are sitting around an awful lot of the time. I did also get involved through an agency in Derby, through the new series of Crossroads that came in the year 2000, and I was quite lucky there because they wanted a lot of regular folk, a little team of regular folk, to be in the Crossroads kitchens. In fact, they even gave me a pretend name so that it would be more authentic, and that name was Nathaniel, which amused me. Got to meet some very nice people there, and it was down at the old Central TV studios. We also went out on location to several shots. I did once get a line, which was so exciting, particularly the paycheck. It was quite exciting, and it was a scene where the restaurant was closing for the evening, and the main chef, played by a chap called Gilly, said in his great Scottish voice, "Chef, good night," or "Good night, Nathaniel," and my response was, "Good night, chef," and I got teased about that endlessly here and after. My very first extra acting job was on a series, very popular series called Boone, with Michael Elphick and other cast. And I got phoned by this agency. I was just so excited because I got this first little job, and I was playing a porter. Again, it was another blink and you miss me type role, but I got to meet some other extras on there, and one of the extras, quite patronising sort of guy, was teasing me about being my first role and me allegedly thinking it was Hollywood, and I said, "Oh, no, sir, it's good to be involved in something. It is my first job. What have you done?" And he told me that he once played a Cyberman in Doctor Who, and I I must admit, I didn't want to laugh, but I could just imagine this guy is quite a big guy in this sort of rubber suit, you know, walking around, and there's him teasing me about me thinking it was, you know, all glitz and glamour. Being an extra is all well and good, and it can be great fun, but in the acting profession you're actually stigmatised as being an extra. What I mean by that is that in the industry it's almost like compartmentalised, where you've got the extras and that's what they're seen as, and you've got the professional actors who, you know, want to work in theatre in a proper theatre role, or ensembles, want to work in film as a proper speaking role. They're a completely different set of creatures, if you like, the two very rarely meet. It's extraordinarily unusual for an extra to go up and to become a speaking role. It does happen from time to time, but you know, it's as rare as hen's teeth, as they say. So that's what I wanted to do, really. I wanted to be, you know, a professional actor, and it wasn't happening. So I sort of, you know, cut my losses and decided to go back to the Lace Market Theatre, or sorry, to the Lace Market Theatre, to do productions there. And I feel over 10-15 years since I've done that, I've had a lot more opportunities to play, you know, a variety of different roles that really and truly I would never have got in the professional theatre. And it is nothing to do with talent, it's to do with just the opportunities, because the acting profession is so overcrowded. Somebody once asked me if I'd ever go back into, you know, trying in the world of professional acting if the opportunity occurred. Part of me would say no, because I'm happy as it is. However, if a brilliant film came along where I got a really nice role and loads of money, then I think I might be tempted.